This is Señorita Sabrosura. Welcome back. And I'm here today to review the new My Morning Jacket album is. And I have two guests today. I have back Hector the Shield on a couch. How are you, Hector?
Doing good. Thank you for having me again.
Of course. And for the first time, I have Pepe Pesante, Mr. P. He's a former radio host and my former boss. Well, you
Hi,
will
thank
be
you.
my boss forever.
I, you're always gonna be my coworker, like forever. That team that we had in that store was something special. Anyway,
Yeah, definitely.
thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the invitation,
Of
and I'm
course.
looking
How you
forward to
been?
talking
How's
about the music.
everything?
Well, good. I'm working on. I've been like doing not como non-music stuff. I've been working on doing the trivia nights here in Puerto Rico that we started about 5 years ago. We
Nice.
started we started a pop trivia on a coffee place in Caguas, and it's
Nice.
taking off. Yeah, it's taking off. We're doing those events about once a month
Nice.
now, and it's all very geeky, very nerd friendly. We have one this week, this next Saturday, 29th. We have an event. The theme is time travel movies and TV shows. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, looking forward to that.
We'll put the details
I
in the
told my
description box.
told my girl to see if she wants to go because I also love the useless knowledge.
Well, then we are your people.
And I went to that coffee place and it's a very cool place and good
Oh yeah,
coffee too.
it is great. It is great. 404 coffee and beers.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
we're here today to review the new My Morning Jacket that is called Is. They always
Is
put like some strange titles on their albums. Um, this album was recorded at the Henson Recording Studios, and something rare for them is that they got the record producer Brendan O'Brien. Uh,
Oh,
O'Brien, yeah, that
huh.
he has worked with Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, Red Hot Chili Peppers, a lot of big artists, and
don't tell-
it's rare because usually they're self-produced. What would you say?
they've also Brendan O'Brien has also worked like I think with Stone Temple Pilots. There's so many names. I saw that interview that he did with Rick Beato.
Okay, yeah. So this album was released on March 21st of this year by Atho Records. It's 10 songs and 39 minutes, 38 minutes, something like that. But I wanted to have a few days so we could listen it and like really thinking on the album. So first we'll do our first impressions, and we start with you, dude, with Hector. What were your first impressions of the album?
So I gotta be honest, this is a band that I've never actually listened to. Like I've always seen that My Morning Jacket name, but it's like one of those names that I know, but I really don't know their music. I think I've listened to some songs, so I went into it pretty blindly. It's a pretty chill record, but there's some cool guitar tones to it, and they're definitely good musicians. But I don't know why I thought they were gonna be like more grungy. Uh,
Okay.
uh, but yeah, no, they're more like mellow. And there's even a track that I don't know if I thought it was a Jack Johnson song uh, in one of the tracks. But yeah, it was very mellow. It was very good for morning, like morning chill type of music. It was more indie rock. I don't know why I thought that, and I saw because I seen that name, I thought they were gonna be like more grungier. So yeah, that's I didn't really know this band that well, but this is one of those bands that you see the name, but I'm like, what do they play? But I had no idea. So I went into like very blindly. I may have listened to some of their older songs, but I really don't know them that well. So I'm like, yeah, I'll check them out. but I thought it was pretty chill album. It has some different tones, and yeah, it's 39 minutes, but it felt kind of a little bit longer sometimes for being 39 minutes, at least to me. But yeah, it wasn't. I was expecting a little bit something with more distortion at times.
Okay. What about you, Pepe?
Well, it's interesting that we have this combination of like Hector hadn't heard any of their music. I had heard some of their older albums. I remember hearing Z and the one that has the bear in the cover that I don't remember the
Evil
title.
Urges.
So I think so. I remember their sound in the past was very like indie folky kind of like 70s vibe.
Yeah.
And then by the time they got to that album Z, they started like introducing more of like they start experimenting more with like synths and like different melody lines and stuff. And I have to admit that I haven't kept up with them. So it was a nice surprise to listen to this and finding out that they, after, as I read, after 25 years of self-producing their stuff, they went with Brendan O'Brien, and it shows. I mean, it's clearly an album that has the My Morning Jacket formula, but it's definitely, you can hear that it's definitely refined by someone else. Like
Yeah.
they're not left to their own devices, and I'm not saying that their older stuff is like it's not as good as this, because they got really good stuff in the past. But for someone that hadn't heard them in a while, I heard them now, and I was really pleasantly surprised that the songs are really well arranged, because they're always well composed, but they're really well arranged in this album.
Yeah,
And
I
I
know.
love how the sounds come from like it's still the 70s sound, but there's also like a psych sound it's something like what oh god, this guy from Australia, Tame Impala, the guy that Tame Impala, what that kind of indie psych that he started making, and kind of a lot of other bands started following. There's some of that, but there's also a lot of more poppy tones, there's very there's a deeper attention to hooks and choruses and stuff. I was very pleasantly surprised with the album, honestly.
I know what you mean. What you're saying, that it looks more refined. Because they used to call this like a jam band, and
Mm.
I read a lot of reviews, and in the past they call it like a jam band, and now like they're taking it seriously. And on first listen, well, I always been a My Morning Jacket fan. The only album that didn't like catch me, it was the last one on 2021.
Right.
But all the other albums I always enjoy. I kept with this band, so I was excited because I heard one of the singles, and it's like, oh, this sounds like different, like
Yeah.
fresh and new, but with the My Morning Jacket signature. Um, I like that it has a lot of variety. Like the indie psych that you said, like a lot of psychedelia, but they always have that southern rock, but no so southern. um and that Americana signature of them. But with all the variety, it still feels like cohesive and a tight record, so I enjoy it.
Right. I think you said they have like a southern thing. I
Mhm.
think it's more into my ears. It's more when you mention Americana, that's more towards what I
Yeah.
hear them injecting in their music, because I hear more of like the Californian country rock of the 70s, like when the Eagles and Graham
Yeah, it has like
Parsons
a lot of
and all that
70s,
stuff.
a lot of
Yeah,
70s influences. Yeah, that too.
definitely. So I feel it's more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also hear a lot of that desert rock.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Some weed was involved.
Well,
You know, I
and
thought about it.
another, I saw Jim James interview with Apple Music, and it's a really good interview, really interesting. So if you have time, watch it. He talks why he this time he shows like a producer instead of self-producing. He's a very perfectionist guy, and he started therapy. He's now sober, but he was doing ketamine therapy, and he was
Oh,
doing something called EMDR therapy. It has to be with the senses and the vision. So he's been working and a lot on him, and trying to be kind to himself and not be so hard, not so perfectionist. So he's like, let me do the music and let someone else take charge of the production and everything else. And I think it pays off. And,
Yeah,
I think so
I'm
too.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Brendan O'Brien. That I'm glad that they chose Brendan O'Brien and not Rick Rubin, because Rick Rubin would have just gone the fuck away, and and then like, what the hell? We're just producing it ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I
Uh,
mean, that's part of the Ruben contract, you know, that's what you get. You know, you're gonna
I
get
would have stopped.
he's not a producer, he's more like a consultant.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's there, he has some kind of conferences with the artist, and then he goes and does whatever the fuck he wants, and then
then
then he
I,
comes
I
back and goes, oh, I don't like that, change it, and then he leaves again.
I always
I,
feel like he's like a guru that will tell you some riddle, and then he goes the fuck away, and
Exactly,
you're
yeah,
like,
there you go.
okay, what I'm supposed to do? Okay, let me do this, and he'll come back and tell me if he likes it or not.
I
Eh,
would just go and say like, delete that. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
well, let's talk favorite tracks. What were your favorite tracks, Hector?
I wrote it down. So I have four favorite tracks. The first one is "I Can Hear Your Love." That one has like some Free Eleven, Jack Johnson vibes to it. So I love Free Eleven. I love Jack Johnson. So I like that. It was like that Americana. Like I'm sitting at the beach. I'm playing a song, and it's all about love. So I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I also enjoy Time Waited. I like the lyrics in that track because it's all about like time waits for no one, but you waited for that special someone. So it's a nice love song, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, it, it's a nice love song since I'm in love again. If you'd asked 2 years ago, I would have been fuck that song.
But you're in love again, so you like it. Yeah, that happens.
Like 2 years ago, I would have been. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm divorced. Like, but I like it again. But yeah, it's a nice song, and they're really good musicians. You know, when they do the guitar jams, you can tell that they have like that classic. I like what Pepe said, like that Eagles type of like soloing, like real pretty soloing. So they have that on that track. And it's funny because most of the tracks I like are in sequence because the next one I pick is beginning from the ending,
Okay.
which is after Time Waited. And beginning from the ending, it's that one has a great solo in a part, and I like it because it's talking about like when something ends, something else begins, and I think the whoever writes the songs, he's a good songwriter. I think he writes coherent songs, and I think I like this type of music now more because I'm more of an adult. I think this is a band that can appeal to like a more mature audience uh,
For sure.
with how they write. And the last one was Die for It because I thought that was like a nice change of paces and it's more funky at the end and it gives it like an extra pep, like almost at the end. But yeah, I can say I didn't think any track was like weak. But I'll save my critiques for the last one. So yeah, those are.
What about you, Pepe? What were some of your favorite tracks?
I'm gonna be honest, it was hard to pick because I was so blown away by it. Like when I
That
heard it
happens to
first,
me all
I
the
was like,
time. So,
how am I gonna pick favorite tracks? Okay, so okay, I went with Everyday Magic, it was like the first two songs that are Out in the Open and Half a Lifetime. They're they got the folk rock thing going on, and even one of them is kind of more I don't want to say grungy, but it's more in the rockier side of their sound. But then Everyday Magic comes in, and it's one of those. The album feels like you're driving and you're like hitting the you're like you're putting your car on first and then second, third, like you're going through those changes, right?
Okay.
And then you keep cruising, and it has these ebbs and flows. And what I really like about the album is that it flows like a classic rock record should flow. Like there's no there like if it's 10 songs. If you want to say, if you want to divide, like I don't have it on vinyl or anything, but I would guess it's 5 and 5, right? So it even the song, the sequencing is it flows like a really good classic rock record. So I really enjoy that. One of the things I really enjoy about classic rock is when bands go into those songs that really like take the album to a different place. Like they go like, well, we rocked you with this, but then let me show you how I'm different with this or that, right? So
Yeah.
there's that song, and then I also like one called Let Me Know, and
Okay.
that is track number 7. I I
Yeah.
I I, I think it was that, and oh, it was hard. The one you mentioned, the time waited,
Time waited.
Time
the one
waited.
Hector mentioned, that's a great fucking song. That's a really good ballad. Like I listened to it, I was like, damn, this song is good. And I think that was the first one I heard, because before I heard the whole album, I was listening to one of these places like new release playlist,
Yeah.
and I heard that song,
Yeah,
and I
that
was
was a
like,
single.
yeah, and that jumped out at me, because I like the sound. So that was another one. And then I really liked River Road, which closes the album. I think it's also a really great closer. There's again with the sequencing thing. I think that not a lot of bands, like, since I know that like people buy vinyl, but I don't know that a lot of bands actually think about their sequencing, because in an era of digital music where you can listen to whatever song you want to listen to, you're not really listening in order. You're putting stuff on playlist. You're just listening to one or two tracks that you like. But the way they structure the album, following that, I want to say like 70s rock canon, like classic rock canon. It closes the album in a really good way, where it kind of leaves you wanting more. So you're gonna go back to the first song. Like you're gonna go back to to the first side, so to speak, and start listening again. So yeah, I would say those are my favorite.
Good
Yeah.
picks for both. Well, uh Out in the Open, for me, I like it because I felt like it was a good opener, a good start for the album. It has some catchy vocals, but it also have that hypnotic, repetitive underneath melody. It remind me of something that LCD Sound System or maybe Talking Heads will do, like the repetitive melody, and he's singing on top, like, and his singing is really good to open this song. uh
I think that repetitive thing is what reminded me of also Tame Impala. I told you.
yeah,
I think, yeah, I
yeah,
got that vibe too.
yeah. And for and but that song also, because I've been listening a lot to Pearl Jam lately, that song remind me of Just Breathe from Pearl Jam, like a lot.
Oh, I can hear it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing I enjoyed from this album was the choppy guitar in different songs. Because what I remember most of my Morning Jack is more melodies, more solos, more classic rock, and here they experiment a lot with the choppy guitar that remind me a lot of Gano 4. And for example, in that second song, Half a Lifetime, that choppy guitar, it was something different and whimsical for them. Pepe, you mentioned Everyday Magic. That song remind me a lot of George Harrison, but not George Harrison with the group.
Yes,
George Harrison's
solo.
solo projects.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a happy 70s song. I like it. Uh, Hector, you mentioned I Can Hear Your Love. On the interview he did, he's talking about love. He wanted to do some love song, but not cheesy love songs. He's trying like to heal and to spread love. And I think not everybody can pull that. The way he sings "Baby," it could be cheesy in another person, but he pulled that off.
You
So,
know what?
uh,
That track sort of had like that yacht rock type of
Sure, sure. Yeah,
which
for sure.
theory. And that yacht rock is as that's a totally made up term. But yeah, it that be it was like a mixture of like 311 with Jack Johnson to me.
Yeah. And I also enjoy Time Wasted. I think Time Waited. I think it's my favorite track on the album. It reminds me a lot of John Coltrane in a sentimental mood. If you haven't heard, look it up. John Coltrane in a sentimental mood. That fantastic piano. I thought it was a ripoff of John Coltrane, but then I saw a clip of him explaining that it's a ripoff from someone older, it's deeper. But it's not a deeper, he was uh like he did a track based on that song. He put it on
Right,
his
right.
channel. But yeah, that piano,
Interesting.
it remind me of John Coltrane. Like if you listen to the song, you will know. And I know they're jazz fans. um Let me know. I really like, but it remind me a lot of Franz Ferdinand. The last album we listened to, that we review, Franz Ferdinand, it remind me a lot, like it could be a track on that album. And a song
That,
and a song you neither of you mentioned, Squid Ink. Uh, that
I
was
had I had it like a runner up. To me, it's like a runner up. But that's also very like a 70s funky.
yeah, that
You
one's
know, not funk, but you know what I mean. Like that,
It
there's
remind me
it,
Black Keys, like with the
right,
blues
right,
rock
definitely.
vibe.
That's like a
Very,
blues,
it
funky
has like
blues.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sludgy blues guitar,
Yes.
and it has like a loud bass. Hold on, my other dog wants to say hi. Hi, Camila. uh,
one spots on the
I
album.
think I enjoy the whole album. Die for It. It gave me that Pink Floyd vibe. And it comes again with the choppy guitar, but it also has that psychedelic feel, like Pink Floyd vibe. So I think I like the whole album. It was hard to pick like just three or four.
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's do our final thoughts. And if you didn't like something, or I know you said, Hector, that you felt it too long. I felt it was too short. Like I wanted more, but I think it was a good time. Like 10 songs, 38 minutes.
Yeah, maybe it's because I listen to so much goddamn metal. Today, I was going. I had to interview a like death metal band. So when I was I'm like when I was tired of listening to it, I'm like, let me listen to this My Bloody Valentine because it's too early for death metal. But the Friday when I listened to it, I listened to it, but it was like a background music to me. I didn't pay that much attention,
My
so
morning
it was
jacket.
more. Yeah, the what?
You said My Bloody Valentine.
Oh my God, My Morning Jacket. Oh, you know what? I even wrote their name wrong. Look at this. I wrote My Bloody Valentine on my note.
Well, at least you listen to the correct album.
No, that would be no, My Morning Jacket. I don't know. I just realized why did I write My Bloody Valentine?
You're
Uh,
tired.
yeah. So
That
the
happens.
album for my morning jacket, it was a grower for me, like on Friday. But I thought, yeah, I'm like, I had it in the background. It was good. I just wanted to listen to it without making notes. Today, I listened to it like two times to get my notes and more on the album. And yeah, they're very talented musicians. I think this is great music, like to chill to. But I also like it that Pepe mentioned like those old bands. In the 80s and 70s, you have your Fleetwood Mac, REO Speedwagons that produced like albums that you had to listen from front to back, and the sequencing was important. I thought this album had good sequencing because it always like it started mellow, then it went up, and like it never went like mellow the whole time. It had like a good flow to it, and 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 yeah, I think for 39 minutes they do a good thing. And that I didn't read that Brendan O'Brien produced it, but yeah, Brendan O'Brien gets the best out of bands in sound. So yeah, uh, it really got like I like how he got this from the band, because as you say, they were like more of a jam band in the beginning. So yeah, I think it's a good home sound. I enjoyed it. I would rate it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. What about you, Pepe? Final
I
thoughts.
don't have, I don't have a lot, I don't have anything that I could probably, I could say it's negative about it. Like, I thought it was really well produced, really arranged, as I said, and the sequencing I loved. And the one thing and it doesn't, not necessarily a problem with the album per se, but that decision of bringing in Brendan O'Brien, I don't know, like, I don't follow the band, so I don't know what their hardcore fans are thinking. Because I think that when you put that album next to some of the stuff they've done before, especially that album that came before,
Yeah.
it can feel overproduced. It can feel overproduced when you compare it to that. So I don't know how the fans are taking it. It'd be interesting to find out how the hardcore fans are taking it. But I loved it. I think it's also a 4. I think it's a 4 out of 5, a very solid 4. And I'm really thinking of maybe getting it physically because I really liked it.
I think I want it for my vinyl collection too. For me, it felt like very refreshing, very upbeat. Gene Boy sounds great. I like that he has different voices, like different vocal range. And definitely this is a grower. It's not something yet like you will listen once. You have to sit with it and pay attention. Uh, for me, I really enjoy it, and I think it's going for my top 10 of right now, favorite
Yeah.
albums of the year so far. Uh, I think I would rate it a 4, maybe 4.5. I think it's a grower. So people, we also want to know your thoughts on this new My Morning Jacket album. Please let us know in the comments, and let us know if what were your favorite tracks and if you listened to it already. Hector, what's going on in your channel? What's next?
So there's a few interviews this week, and I'm thinking of reviewing the new Death Heaven album that comes out this Friday. There's also a metal band from San Francisco called Doomsday that I interviewed. That I probably also review the album. And also, who's putting out an album this Friday? One of the members from Boy Genius.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I
Not
can
not
talk.
Phoebe, not Phoebe, one of the other ones.
I can't remember her name.
Okay.
Lu-
No Phoebe
Lucy
Bridgers. Lucy.
Lucy Duskus or Daskus. Uh,
That goes something like
that,
that.
whatever, Lucy.
Okay. Oh,
She's-
that we enjoyed the Boy Genius. So that
so
was
yeah, so that's what I'll be like reviewing next.
nice. And Pepe, you said you have a trivia on Saturday.
Yes. It's gonna be 404 coffee and beers in Caguas. Saturday, inscriptions for the trivia event start at 5, and the trivia event starts at 6. It's gonna be about time travel movies and TV shows. So there's gonna be rounds of Back to the Future movies, Bill and Ted, the Doctor Who, uh, and then a whole bunch of stuff, Terminator, whatever you think of, like there's time travel involved, there are probably going to be one or two questions about it. It's just, they're not hard questions. They're little, brain scratchers, I call them. Some people say that they're too hard, but there's always people that go like, "Well, you make them too easy." I'm like, you're never gonna please people. But yeah, everyone's invited, and then we'll be announcing on our Facebook page. My producing we produce under the name Cult House. That's CULTHAUS. You can find it on Facebook or Instagram, and that's what that's where we post the new events whenever we plan them, and can set the dates with 404. And then also I'm also making a podcast in Spanish about it's an MCU rewatch. We're going through every Marvel movie. I'm doing it with Mario Alegre, which is one of the premier movie reviewers here in the island. And he approached me last year to start the project, and I'm glad to be doing it with him. And we're barely starting. We counted how many movies we have and how many weeks left to the debut of Avengers Secret Wars, and we kind of timed it so that we will be done by the time we get to 2026 and that movie comes out. Yeah.
How does Marvel have now?
35, I think.
Um,
Yeah.
I stopped watching after the one with Thanos and he destroyed everything. Sorry for
A
the
lot of people did. No, hey, a lot of people did.
The
I
last,
understand, but I keep watching.
the last one I saw, saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and I saw the Marvels, and the Marvels is one of the worst movies I've seen in my life.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. I like it, but I understand why people don't like it.
We'll put the all the
Are
Yeah,
you going
I'll
to
say
keep the time traveler's wife?
on the trivia, you mean? Yeah, we will. There's gonna be something there.
Uh,
But yeah, definitely. Just check our socials, because we're gonna have information on all the events that we do, and we might start branching out with the trivia events to the rest of the island, or even maybe make some online events for, so a lot of our friends that are in the States can also take place.
participate.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
participate
cool.
and play with us. Yeah, so yeah, definitely follow us on the socials, and you'll
Yeah,
find
we'll
out
put
what we
all
do.
the details in the description. Well, I want to thank you both guys for joining me in this review. I hope to see you soon. And oh, for you people out there, if you like this video, give us a like, share it with your friends so we can reach more people. And we'll see you soon with more Sabrosura recommendation and reviews. Thank you. Bye.